right. We're recording. Yes. All right, we have nothing else to do but record video. It's shaking a little bit because I'm kind of cold, to be honest with you, but that'll go away in a while. We stayed at a Motel 6 last night. It was great. Took some time off this morning. Some friends took us to church. They dropped us off in the rain. That's happened a couple times to us, but hey, rain happens. But this rain, we've had better rains. Really, this is like kind of a non-stop heavy rain that shows no promise of letting up. And so we were out there for a few hours. We did 5 miles this afternoon. But we had to put up this tent in the rain. Fairly hard rain, and so everything was just wet, and our bodies are wet, and our ponchos, I don't know about attitudes, I think hers didn't work that great. Mine didn't work at all. Like, I don't know what went wrong, but it's raining out there, you can't really look at anything, and it was cold. And so when we got in camp, it was one of those things where our fingers were so cold we couldn't do anything. It was all we could do to get our belt buckles on our backpacks off, and we just had the hardest time setting up the tent because the simplest things we just couldn't get our fingers to function. So we spent a while trying to pretend that we're dry right now. The reality is everything's damp, and yeah, I mean, in short, we're miserable right now. Would that be an accurate description, Attitude?
That would be pretty correct.
It's, and I don't mind these things if it's promising tonight or tomorrow, but I don't think it is. I think the rain is supposed to continue through the night and into tomorrow, and we just really just don't know. Everything's gross, and so we can adjust plans slightly tomorrow to go to a shelter, see if we can get a spot in the shelter. We're not sure. First thing in the morning, I'm interested in is heading to a shelter that's nearby, just getting at a higher altitude, higher elevation, where sometimes we can get a cell tower signal, and we can check the weather for an update, and maybe things will be more promising. If not, we'll have to deal with it. Any Attitude, anything to add?
It might be a rough week, lots of rain, but we got it. We'll get through it.
She says we got it. I just want to make the next 24 hours or so, because we don't got it like this. We got to somehow, I mean, everything's wet, and yeah, she has a good attitude. That's why that's her trail name. I haven't taken too much video. It's just been kind of a miserable day and a half, and nothing that you haven't seen before. Just rain, and it's been cold, and our fingers haven't been functional, so we're just in survival mode. In survival mode, I usually don't want to even take any video because I just want to survive, but we are probably going to get to a campsite tonight. We might bail out a little early and get to a shelter, but everything's wet from last night, so there's really no good options. But the rain at the moment, talking to you, is not happening at the moment. The rain has continued to hold off. It's a nice break. We still have to deal with how we're going to manage the night and our next meal, where we're going to do that. But yeah, nice to just be able to walk without the pitter-patter all the time. But a long bridge here. We walked up a road for a ways. Nice walk, but still lots of stuff to deal with. Puddles and lakes and bogs everywhere in the trail today. Alright, we're off the road, back out into the tunnel. The rain continues to hold off. We're really pleased. Going through a meadow with some cows here. Closest we've been to cows yet. Okay, for the night we parked ourselves behind this big boulder, and we found a spot we think is reasonably dry. The footprint, that is kind of the tarp that you put underneath the tent, was sopping wet, and the tent itself was wet, but we've been working on trying to get it as clean as possible. You can see all the water, but I'd like to try to start the night out as dry as we can, so we're working on it.
Alright, we have needed a way to hang things inside the tent, like socks, various things that are wet, and try to dry them. So we took some tent stake guy lines. We had a spare. And we hope this kind of works. We think we can adjust it, and we're just going to leave it in there. We'll give you a report on how that works. I should add that we used to have a business that we sold a bazillion pieces of Velcro like this, and we're finding them extremely handy on the trip.
Okay, we're doing a special dinner tonight thanks to our favorite trail angel, my mom, because it's Fortitude's birthday.
Yay! Happy birthday, Fortitude.
Happy birthday, Dad. So we have this great Mountain House chicken and dumplings meal.
Good morning, Appalachian Trail. It is a beautiful morning. Did not rain very much last night. Did not rain this morning. We casually put away our tent, cleaned up the area, had breakfast outside. Everything's good. We're going to do 15 miles today. Excited to get back out on the trail. Love ya. I can tell when we get to a muddy spot. I know Attitude's footsteps, but there's not many other footsteps. In fact, hardly any. Maybe one other pair this morning. And it reminds me, we've learned that during rainy times, just about everybody on the trail seems to leave the trail. They just don't deal with it. So if the rain looks like it's going to be obnoxious for a few days, we tend to have the day to ourselves. I saw hardly anybody yesterday and nobody this morning. Just that's the thing. And we'll try to do that too. Try to do better at that. Like if it's going to be rainy a few days in a row, it probably is good to maybe get off the trail. But the other thing, river crossing, is sometimes the weather will say it's going to be obnoxious for 3 days in a row, but it doesn't turn out that way. It's like yesterday really wasn't that bad. I mean, it was wet and rainy, but it wasn't raining. It was just wet. We were able to get our tent in our tent, and we were dry last night. And this morning was normal. So, you don't want to bail too quick. I just wanted to talk a little bit about these orange rocks. We've been climbing all day and walking over all manner of rocks. Suddenly we turned a corner and they all became orange. Clear orange and a completely different type of rock. And I know there's a story behind that geologists or some other type of earth scientists know. Maybe that's rust, maybe it's iron ore, I don't know. But I have to think it's probably a fascinating venture for those kinds of people to take a trip on the AT, because you're just so connected to the change in terrain. Here they cut a section into the rock. These rocks can be really slippery when they're wet, so really nice of the trail maintainers to give us some footing there, because you're walking up a lot of this kind of stuff, and without the footing you could be slipping and sliding. All day as we've been hiking around this mountain and water just oozing out everywhere. we're so continually amazed at the abundance of water. And when I think about these kind of mountains, I oftentimes think of all the pressure inside, all the water that wants to get out, like the top of the mountain exploding off like a volcano because there's just all this water that wants to get out. And it's been getting out much of the day over our feet in the trail. And we just love the fact that there's so much water around here. Yeah, I mean, it can be a problem, but it's such a sign of life, and we love it. We're approaching Grayson Highlands State Park. Kind of looking forward to seeing some of the ponies. In this state park, there are wild ponies that roam, and apparently they're pretty friendly. Perhaps looking for food, I don't know. But okay, here we are officially entering Grayson Highlands State Park. If I can walk through here, you can just see the countryside is beautiful. And we hope to see some wild ponies.
Made it to mile 500.
500. Whoopee! There's some ponies straight ahead. All right, it's us or them. They're standing on our path. Attitude's gonna go and she's gonna try and pet them. Wish we had some red apples or some sugar. Hi. Go, Attitude. You got anything in your snack bag? They always say don't feed the bears, but they have not said that about the ponies. Give her some nuts. It's the only reason she's being friendly. See, she knew right off you're going for something. Skittles? Oh, now they're all coming up. You've become very popular.
Whoa. Wait.
Here we are in the home of the LaFlammes, Richard and Mary, and they've been trail angels to us. They helped us get to church last weekend, and tonight here we are. I've even lost, what day is this? This is Wednesday night. Anyway, we are having some rough trail food here. This is pulled pork and coleslaw and watermelon and all the things we don't get on the trail. We're really being treated like kings and queens tonight, so having a great time.